Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story, it comes from Parking Potato 9891 from Raised by Narcissists. It says, kept the birth of my child private and now I'm paying for it. Hello. So I posted this situation in another community, but it got taken down, so I wanted to try again here because a lot of commenters on the last post recommended this one. I had a baby just over a month ago. My husband and I decided we wanted everything about the delivery to be private, no visitors at all. We just thought it may reduce some stress, and we felt it was an intimate moment for just the two of us to share. Anyway, my delivery was long and hard and ended in a C-section. We ended up not telling anybody that our baby was born until about 24 hours after the fact because we were just exhausted and wanted to be sure nobody showed up without an invitation. My husband's family reacted so well to the news. They were super excited for us. My parents did not react well. My dad blew up on us saying we should be ashamed of ourselves and how dare I break the news so late to them since they helped pay for my college, came to emergency situations and raised me. My mum then sent me and my husband a message basically guilting us for the decision we made and for not telling them sooner. The next day, my dad sent me this long, hateful message essentially saying I did my parents wrong. I'm abusive. My husband is abusing me. My husband is literally perfect, so I don't know where this came from. And that I will be on an island alone with no love and support. I responded and said I was sorry their feelings were hurt. I tried to understand where all these accusations were coming from, but I thought it was not right that we were getting treated this way for a decision that was ours to make, and that I was hurt he would treat me this way and not even ask how I was doing so freshly postpartum when I'm already dealing with enough as is. My dad basically blew me off saying he didn't ask how I was doing because I should just be giving this information without him having to ask. That he would not be following the rules we made for our child because we do not control him, and to not bother inviting him to see me and the baby because he is done and to have a good life. The whole situation is sad and this reaction is just insane. My dad hasn't spoken to me since and I don't feel like I should reach out at this point even though I feel sad about things going this way. My mum eventually said she felt bad for the way they acted but is now acting like nothing ever happened. I don't know how to feel about that. I just want to know if I'm missing something and treated them poorly. I feel in my core that I just want to be done because it feels so exhausting pretending everything is fine, but I also don't want to lose contact with my family. This is just confusing and frustrating. What the actual fuck? Waiting 24 hours after a long, difficult birth ending in a C-section is completely reasonable. And you'd think most people who loved them would be going like, you just take all the time you need. You let me know if I can help in any way. Do you want some food brought round? And I will leave immediately. Anything like that, just to help them through a really difficult time. Just try to be supportive, but instead the first reaction is anger. You're getting guilt-tripped and bringing up everything they've ever done for her. And then he's turning around and saying he won't follow the rules for their child. But I have a feeling this isn't just about the birth announcement because that kind of reaction doesn't just come out of nowhere. The level of anger, the guilt tripping and the jumping straight to you've done us wrong and I'm done with you feels like there's a long history there, especially with the dad. But a commenter says to OP, well, your dad is a grade A prick and your mum is his flying monkey. I would say to let your dad have his wish and don't bother contacting him. Focus on your sweet baby and the family you started. It may get resolved in time or not, but either way, take your time to decide how or if you want to resolve this. Commenter says, for a guy who told you he won't follow your rules for your child, his rejection makes it easier to protect your child, and the unspoken part of you don't control me is I control you. Bumblebee says, you're only going to pay for it if you keep in contact. Your mother of all people should know better. This is the most vulnerable time of your life. Nothing else matters. This is one time in your life where everything is about you and your baby. Anyone who tries to detract from that are not good people to have in your life. Maybe when you're healed and settled, you can try and reconnect, but I wouldn't waste my breath. Rando says absolutely. OP, if you allow your folks to establish a close relationship with your child, they sound like the type that will threaten to sue for grandparents' rights if you decide to pull back. Not to suggest they will succeed, but it'd be a lot of stress and possibly lawyer fees to get the case dismissed. You know them better than anybody on Reddit does, but if their entitlement in this situation is not unusual, protect your baby, your husband, and yourself by going low contact. If they ask you why you don't let them see the baby, tell them what your father said about your boundaries is enough to cut all contact. It'd be nice if he left that on a text or voicemail. Opie responds saying, I really hate the thought of all this. I partially feel like I have an obligation to get this ironed out because they're my parents, but at the same time, I think the only thing that would possibly get that going for me is to apologize to them. I'm certainly not doing that. So we've just been at a stalemate for over a month now. Unfortunate. Opie then comes in with an update and says, so 3 months later, my dad still isn't talking to me. He hasn't seen my baby, hasn't reached out, nothing. Honestly, the whole not talking to me thing isn't even what makes me so upset. It's that apparently his pride and entitlement is more important than knowing my baby. It's so hard to not just boil over the fact that he's acting this way. My grandma, my dad's mum, accidentally sent a text that was clearly not meant for me. She was texting me asking how we were doing, and I replied we were doing good. And I was taking baby's 1 month pictures, and I would send her some of them when I was finished. About 5 minutes later, she texted, my name is taking baby's 1 month pictures, and that she would send them. Okay. If you don't want pictures of my baby, just say that. Maybe I'm reading too far into that text, but it just got me so angry because I'm confident that was meant for my dad to get him pissed off. Just a little more context to why that would piss him off. We asked everyone that was going to receive pictures of our baby to not post them or send them to anyone. And my dad lashed out at me saying I wasn't going to control how he loves his grandbaby, as if exploiting the baby is a way to love. Okay. Anyway. This was really disappointing because I've always had a good relationship with my grandmother, but now I feel I can't trust her. On top of that, she went from texting me several times a week to not talking to me for 3 weeks straight, and proceeded to text my mum and sister asking if I was okay because she hadn't heard from me, as if I've been ignoring her. This whole thing with her just has me irritated. I let my mum come to visit once. The visit went fine, but I can't help to feel like our relationship is ruined. I didn't enjoy the visit. I just felt the memories of what happened immediately postpartum looming over my head. I'm just waiting for the day she suggests I reach out to my dad, which I won't be doing. My mum does things that make me so angry, like asking my sister to send her pictures of my baby when she knows the rules are nobody is supposed to send pictures of my baby to anyone. My sister never sends her the pictures. My sister has been so amazing. I don't know what I would do without her. Mum asking for pictures makes me feel like she doesn't care about the boundaries we set, and she has no problem being sneaky to get what she wants. Another thing she keeps saying is, when you're coming down to visit. Visit for what? To hang out until my dad comes home and a big fight breaks out in front of my baby. For him to just get what he wants after treating me and my husband like garbage. No thanks. Sometimes I wonder if I'm overreacting to all of these things. I'm just so physically tired with everything that comes with a baby. I adore my baby. That child is the light in my life. It's just hard. I think I have some postpartum rage or depression or something that really amps up my feelings in regard to all of this. I'm just so incredibly angry about it all. Some days I can forget about it if I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and keep busy. Other days I feel myself just stewing in anger and sadness over how my family has been perfectly comfortable treating me, my husband, and my sweet baby. Anyway, posting here last time really helped me feel better, so I thought I'd do it again. Thanks to everyone who commented last time. I never could have responded to all those, but they were so appreciated. A commenter says to OP, you set clear boundaries and they're choosing pride over connection. That's on them, not you. Protect your peace and your baby. You're not overreacting. OP says, I appreciate you saying that. Dogs and Coffee says they wanted bragging rights and to be able to tell people that they are special and all that, but you didn't obey them, so naturally they are sulking because they are not special, and your mum has to hear from your dad how awful and mean you are. Of course she is not going to look at you the same. She chose her spouse over a grown kid. Actions have consequences though, and their consequences are missing out on a lifetime of bragging rights about their grandkid and how special he/she, got baby's gender, sorry, is. They really chose pride over having something to actually be proud of, and they are proud of their decisions. Commenter says, protect your child at all costs. Protect your child. They're not entitled to anything, including but not limited to time, pictures, hugs, holidays, gift-giving, visits, compromising events, etc., etc. Yes, you do have control, as you should, as every good parent should. He's upset because you took away his binky and blanky control, and now he's throwing the father of all hissy fits complete with flying monkeys doing his bidding, mum and wife. You're not overreacting. Let your mama bear side out and rip into anyone that thinks they can break or bend the rules. My house, my child, my rules. End of story. Should be your mantra for the rest of your life, for anyone. He's shown you exactly why you shouldn't cave, because he's not emotionally mature enough to know what's the best thing for the baby. His needs and feelings come first, fuck his feelings. My favorite thing to say, just because someone is upset at you doesn't mean you did the wrong thing or made the wrong decision. I'm so sorry your dad is an emotional toddler. Opie says thank you for this. I'm a very non-confrontational person, so sometimes I need this encouragement. It's already hard enough navigating this parenting thing for the first time, let alone throwing in a giant man toddler pitching fits really makes things frustrating. The commenter replies saying, I hear you. You have excellent instincts, mama. You can tell he won't be safe with a baby. People who can't listen to parents' rules don't get time with baby, period. That should be one rule to rule them all. There's a book called something like Emotionally Immature Parents. I've been meaning to read it, but since both mine are dead, I have no pressing need. You might want to look into it. As for you, how are you? Has any of these family members asked you about you, or do they just care about getting what they want out of you? You take care of yourself, honey. They don't seem to know how to care about anything but themselves. From experience, it's really difficult seeing parents and family members act so childish when they don't get their way. And as much as you may want grandparents for your squish, please use extreme caution. These people rarely change and often get worse as they age. Don't let nostalgia or longing for parents override your instincts to protect yourself and your baby. Congratulations on your squish, by the way. You're doing an excellent job. I listened to the audiobook of Emotionally Immature Parents, by the way. Good book. Even if you're just trying to listen to the psychology behind it all, I found it really interesting. OP responded saying, you're too sweet. I feel like I'm doing well aside from the hormones screwing with me. I pointed out to my dad how he never asked me or how baby was doing, and he said he didn't ask because I should have been updating them without having to ask. Yes, I was so worried about texting you while having a baby cut out of my body. And the commenter replies one more time. Say this. Sorry dad, got a baby to think about. Texting works both ways. Be an adult and use your words if you want something. Okay, bye. I could be your dad whisperer since I don't give two fucks about his feelings. Lol. Hormones and possible PPD are all the more reason to put anyone on the back burner other than you and your baby. I wish you a speedy, healing, pampering, and healthy baby with good sleeping. Hugs if you want them. I know this might sound like a bit of a brutal take, and I hate to say it, but I don't think OP's going to find any real peace while these people are still in her life. Because it's not just one argument, it's the guilt tripping, the boundary stomping, the going behind her back, the silent treatment. It's constant. And even in the moments where things seem calm, there always seems to be something simmering away underneath. That kind of stress, especially like postpartum, has to be exhausting. And at some point, it stops being about trying to fix the relationship, which I just don't think was ever going to happen anyway, because like I said in the first post, I think there's a lot more to this dad and their relationship probably growing up for a long, long time. But it becomes more about just protecting your own peace and your baby in the end, husband as well. You don't need this shit in your life. You deserve peace, you deserve love, you deserve happiness, not whatever they're bringing to the table, because it's fuck all. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story, it comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. It has a couple of trigger warnings on it of homophobia and death of loved ones as well. So if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. It's titled, Am I the Arsehole? For wanting to bring the partner of my brother to his funeral. Also, just to briefly mention, this started around in 2020, so there is mentions of COVID within the story, just to clear up any confusion there. A little over a month ago, my little brother, who was 26, passed away in a motorcycle accident. His death was so sudden and it's hit my family very hard. I honestly still can't believe it. With COVID and now this unexpected loss, we had no idea how to organize a funeral while dealing with our grief. My brother always said he wanted to be cremated when he died, so at least we were able to honor his wish. It also made it a little easier to take our time to plan a proper service for him without worrying about his body. The week my brother passed, I drove to his apartment to pick up some of his stuff and met his roommate. I call him M, whom my sister already told the news. Only I came to find out M was more than that. He was my brother's boyfriend of 5 years. He was so heartbroken and upset, he didn't even try to hide the fact that they were a couple. While I was a bit surprised, I had my suspicion growing up that he might like guys, but I never said anything. Being his older brother and all, I figured he'd come to me when he was ready. I wound up staying for hours talking to M about my brother and going through photos. Since then, I kept contact with him to see how he's coping, and I started visiting a lot just so we both had someone to talk to. He's a great guy, and I'm really happy my brother found someone like him to spend his years with. Having these talks with M have also made me feel a lot closer to my brother again. My brother distanced himself from our family at 18 and didn't keep much contact with anyone, even me, despite us being as close as two brothers can be. Which, looking back now, I can see why. My family was finally able to organize a proper funeral service for my brother. The service is scheduled for this Friday. We're still limited on how many people can be there, so only close family will be attending, and there'll be live stream for everyone else. I think M should be at the funeral. He just lost the love of his life, and he really wants to be there too. We decided to tell my parents he's a really close friend of my brother's. My sister, who apparently knew about them, flipped when she found out. She told me not to bring M because our parents will question who he is, and it might expose the truth about my brother being gay since they never met him before. We argued over this, and she pretty much thinks I'd be an arsehole for letting M face ridicule from our family if they found out who he was. They're all close-minded. And also a terrible son if I upset my parents over my brother being gay while they're still grieving him. This is all if they find out. I don't know if they will, but it still doesn't seem fair to not let M be there when he was such an important person in my brother's life. I feel like it's only right to bring him, but maybe I'm letting my emotions get the best of me, and maybe someone with a different perspective can tell me. Am I the arsehole? I get the concerns here, because if the family's this close-minded or homophobic, the last thing you want is M being put in a shitty position at a funeral of all places with everything that he's already going through. Lost, the love of his life. Of course, 100%, I think M should be able to attend. This was his partner of 5 years. He deserves the chance to say goodbye properly if that's what he needs. And I know it'd be just a fucking awful conversation. I think need to be upfront with him and let him know exactly what the family is like, what the risks are, and let him decide if he still wants to come. I'm not saying he shouldn't come. As I said, he 100% deserves to go, but he also deserves to know what people he's going to be around at the same time, because they're not going to change their views anytime soon, are they? But at least this way you're giving him the respect of deciding how he wants to grieve. A commenter says to OP, in a perfect world, your sister's concerns wouldn't matter, but it's not a perfect world. To me, if M knows the risks and is willing to come anyway, let him. Maybe your parents will surprise you and be happy that your brother found someone so wonderful. Not the arsehole, by the way. OP replies saying I highly doubt it. They're not the most open-minded people when it comes to the LGBTQ community. M is aware of the risks and knows how my family is. I really don't think there's a possibility he'd be outed somehow, but my sister seems to think so. Commenter says, M deserves to be there. OP replies saying I agree, and I'm so glad others do too. OP comes in with an update in the same post and says, thank you so much for everyone for your support and assuring me that we're doing the right thing here. I know I won't be able to reply to every single comment, so just wanted to express my gratitude. Also, I did want to say, since people are telling me to warn M about my family, he's well aware of how they are since my brother told him all about them and knows what he might be dealing with if anyone finds out. He still made the choice to be there and prefers being introduced as only my brother's best friend. Not because of my family's homophobic views, but because he wants peace for himself at the funeral. If anyone does find out though, he won't be alone. I'll be standing by his side, so anybody wanting to cause problems will be dealing with me. So please don't worry. I won't let anyone ruin this last chance for us to say goodbye to my dear baby brother. So OP did come in with a full update and says many of you were asking for an update, so I thought I'd share. Here's the original post, by the way, and shares the link to that. M went to the funeral and I introduced him to everyone as my brother's roommate and best friend. My sister was visibly bothered, but she didn't say anything. As expected, everyone, including my parents, were too upset to think about him being there and were still welcoming towards him. They didn't speculate or react the way my sister thought they would. I knew they wouldn't. We were all focused on my brother. It was a beautiful service. I'm glad M was a part of this and that my brother got a proper send-off. It was very difficult and it hurt so much to say goodbye. I really hope we did right by my brother, and it was how he would have wanted it. Thank you to whoever suggested an urn necklace that M could keep some of my brother's ashes in. I brought this up to him and asked if it was something he wanted. I was going to get part for myself while my parents kept most of it, and then I would just split the ashes with M. M didn't know that was a thing, but said he liked the idea. He got himself a beautiful pendant to keep the ashes in, and he really loves it, so thanks again to the person who commented this. It was a lovely suggestion, and it means so much to him to have a piece of my brother with him at all times. I've still kept in contact with M since the funeral. He stopped by a couple of times and has finally met my wife and daughter. I also try to see him when I have the chance just to make sure he's okay. This has understandably taken a huge toll on him. He told me he started talking to someone to help cope with the grief, which I think is great. I myself had a bit of a wake-up call that therapy was something I very much needed right away. My wife brought it to my attention that our 5-year-old has noticed I've stopped eating, and now she doesn't want to either unless I do. I don't know. I guess I haven't been able to eat because I feel like I don't deserve it, if that makes any sense. It hit me that what I'm going through was starting to affect my family, so I'm currently looking up grief counseling in my area. I've also made an effort to eat more in front of my daughter, so she knows that I'm fine and it's okay to eat, hiding the fact that it makes me sick to my stomach. Things are still rough and wounds are yet to heal, but we're all surviving. Thank you everyone for your kindness and support. It was very reassuring to know that this was the right thing and M deserved to be there. Thinking back now, it should have been a no-brainer, but emotions were high and it was better to get an outsider's perspective. I appreciate everyone's input, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bloody hell, I had to take a moment after that one. Onion Ninjas were getting to me because honestly, the part that really gets to me is that he never got to know this. Like, this young guy spent years keeping that part of himself at a distance from his family, probably thinking, that he won't be accepted by them because he knows what they're like, when in reality, his brother would have supported him no matter what. And that's the bit, it gets me going. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand why brother would be keeping that away if the rest of his family's like that, right? But it sounds like OP is exactly the kind of family member he deserved to have in his corner the whole time, and they never got that chance while he was alive. But I also gotta say, I think it's really wonderful how OP's taken the time to look after M too, because it would have been so easy for him to just step back after the funeral, but instead he kept in contact, checking in on him and made sure he's okay, even when he's going through a hell of a lot himself. And that says a lot about the kind of person he is. Like, to me, it just feels like, even though his brother's gone, the connection hasn't just disappeared, it's still there through the people that he loved. And at the end of this, I really hope that they stay in each other's lives and have stayed in each other's lives, because honestly, it feels like they both need that. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story was from the relationship advice subreddit from a throwaway account, and says, I, female 24, think my boyfriend, male 30, is cheating. We've been together 5 years. I've, female 24, been dating my boyfriend, male 30, for about 5 years. And throughout those 5 years, we've both been really happy. We met when I was in college and he was visiting my roommate, his little sister, and we just hit it off. I moved into his place around the 2-year mark of us dating. For the sake of some privacy, I will just call him Xavier. Recently, Xavier has been weird though. He'll come home way later than he usually does from work, and he's been dodgy with his phone lately. The only reason I haven't confronted him is because I've read stories on him on my main account of people thinking their significant other is cheating, but really they were just getting them a surprise or throwing a party. I also don't want to be a jealous girlfriend, and he has told me that in the past one of his girlfriends was really jealous, and that's why they broke up. He's also my first serious boyfriend, and I'm really happy in this relationship. I don't want to screw it up. The only other thing though is that if he was cheating, I think I would know who it was with. He has this friend, male 29, I'll call him Joe, and Joe has this girlfriend, I'll call her Rachel, who is female 29. Rachel works at the same place as Xavier. Joe and Rachel have been friends with my boyfriend for a while, and Rachel is really close to my boyfriend, and sometimes he'll invite just her over to our house, but I am there most of the time. If he was cheating, I think it would be with her, but I could be wrong, so I can't ask her and ruin their friendship or something. So I really don't know what to do. Joe has no problem with Rachel going over to our house without him, so it might be just me being jealous. I don't know. I know that Rachel has also cheated on Joe in the past, so that's another reason, I guess. If you can't tell already, I kinda don't like Rachel. We are usually very open with our phones too. He can check mine whenever he wants and I can check his whenever I want. Xavier has accused me of cheating before and it really hurt me because I wasn't, so I don't want to accuse him and then have him feel like I did or something. I really don't know what to do and I love him, so I don't want to ruin our relationship. I think many of the comments are going to go straight down the cheating route because, all the usual signs are there, right? Late nights, dodgy with the phone, all the usual shit. But the thing that's sticking out to me more is how she's second guessing herself the whole time. Like, she's clearly noticing changes. She's uncomfortable. There's the usual trust your gut in this as well. And instead of trusting that, she's worried about being the jealous girlfriend. And then you got Rachel in the mix. Someone she already doesn't trust, who's cheated before, major red flag, and who's spending one-on-one time with her boyfriend. Yeah, I can see why her mind is going overtime in this. Of course, we haven't got the full story, so there's always a chance this isn't going to be cheating. It could be a surprise of some sort, but it doesn't feel like that to me. A commenter says to OP, at first I thought you were being paranoid, and then I read Rachel has also cheated on Joe in the past, and now I wouldn't trust her myself. I'm assuming Xavier knows that as well. I'd confront him about it and let him know how uncomfortable I feel towards the situation. However, I've been in your shoes before, so I remember how hard it was to work up the courage to do that. Talking to Joe might not be the worst idea. OP says, I've thought about talking to Joe and asking him if Rachel has been weird lately or something, but I'm not close to him, and I don't even have his phone number saved in my phone. Before I ask my boyfriend or anything, I think I'm going to try and ask Joe. Another commenter says to OP, have you asked him at all why he's coming home late? If not, start there. It's not unreasonable to ask your partner, hey, why are you always coming home late? Like, I honestly think it'd be weirder if someone wasn't curious about their partner always coming home late. I get that you don't want to be a jealous girlfriend, but if you are in a relationship where you can't even ask him about where he is and why he has the schedule change, then you're not in a healthy relationship. Don't bring up Rachel or anything. And depending on how he reacts to you asking him about him always coming home late, it might be a good idea to hold back on the phone convo for now. If you ask him where he's been and he blows up on you and starts calling you crazy or jealous or anything, honestly, I think you should just check his phone when he's sleeping or something because he's probably cheating. I know him accusing you of cheating made you feel bad and you don't want to do that to him, but he may have made those cheating accusations because he knew it'd make it harder for you to question him when he's actually doing something worth questioning. Even if he isn't cheating or doing anything wrong, he better not turn anything around on you and make you the bad guy for asking. It's not like you're going crazy and getting pissed about every interaction he has with a woman. If he truly isn't doing anything wrong, like he's planning some huge proposal or surprise or something, he should still be able to see why you would have to question about what he's been up to and how it come off as suspicious. Regardless of what he is doing, I think you need to be there for yourself a bit more. Stop thinking you're going to screw this up or ruin the relationship because you have questions about these weird changes. Don't put your love for him and your hope for this relationship first. Put yourself first. If he's betraying you, you deserve to have yourself fully in your own corner, not prioritizing him or the relationship. Just be there for yourself. You got this. OP replies saying thank you for your advice, and all the comments on this post says just to talk to him when he gets home today. I'm going to try and ask why he's home late, and then whatever happens after that happens. One more commenter says, everything was normal until he accused you of cheating. Usually cheaters do this to deflect, lol. It's a really strange thing. Also, I firmly believe in women's intuition because I felt it when my ex was cheating, but I didn't know he was cheating. I just knew something was wrong and he was at work too much. He got with his co-worker. So OP did come in with an update on this post and says, first I want to say thank you to anyone who commented on my original post and gave me advice. I didn't think I was going to post an update as my last post didn't gain a lot of traction, but someone wanted an update, so here it is. Also, sorry if it's kind of long. The last 2 days have been chaotic to say the least. When Xavier, my now ex-boyfriend, got home the same day I posted originally, he came home late yet again by like an hour. He acted perfectly normal, so I was having second thoughts, but I decided to just go through with my plan on asking him why he was coming home late. This is what I asked him. Oh, by the way, I've been meaning to ask how you've been coming home so late. I was told by Reddit to make sure it didn't sound like I was confronting him. He responded with a simple, "Oh, just traffic and my meetings have been longer than usual." To me, that seemed like a perfectly reasonable explanation. I let it go. Well, right before we went to bed, he was on his phone a lot. From what I could tell, he was texting someone. I'm not proud of what I did, but when he fell asleep, I looked for his phone. He had hidden it inside his bedside table. I looked through his and Rachel's, his friend's girlfriend's texts, and found nothing suspicious. I was relieved for a second, but then I opened up his Instagram. Turns out he was cheating on me, just not with Rachel, but some random girl he had met on Instagram. They had been texting regularly, and he was leaving work early to go visit her. I couldn't believe it, as we've been together for so long, and even though I had asked Reddit, I still wanted to be wrong. I kinda just sat there in shock for a while, I think. We had talked about getting married, having kids, moving, getting pets, and making travel plans, all while he was hooking up with some girl. After I gathered myself, I just put the phone back and laid down in bed. It took me a while for me to fall asleep, but I eventually did. When we were eating breakfast, I confronted him, told him I knew everything and that we were breaking up. He begged me to let him have a chance to explain, but I said no, that I'd gone through his phone and saw all of the texts. I packed while he was trying to get me to stay, then had my sister pick me up. Now I'm staying at her place. It was all a blur and happened very fast, as I just wanted to get out. Where I am heartbroken and wished I kinda never found out, I know that I would rather have broken up with him than give him another chance, as I have a zero tolerance for cheaters, and he knew this. I've been talking to my sister all morning today, and according to her, she never liked him, and always thought that when I was with him, I just kinda let him walk all over me. This all happened so fast though, and I have barely had time to process it. He's also been spamming me with messages literally everywhere, and I keep blocking him, but he won't stop. But anyways, that's the update. My life's now shit. I live with my sister and I work pretty close to where he lives, so that's great. I haven't been single in a while, so I don't know what to do with all my extra time. Edit, no, I'm not messaging the girl or ruining her life. I'm pissed at her, but I'm not a monster sadly, unlike her. I'm not ruining his life either. The most I would do is tell his family, but that sounds kind of childish, and I want to be the bigger person. A commenter says to OP, "You didn't ruin your life. You just found out the truth and protected your future. That took a lot of strength. One small thing that might help. Mute. Don't just block, so you don't see his messages at all. How has it been living with your sister so far?" OP says, "I have tried muting also, but he just makes like alt accounts and messages me. He even had his sister message me. I've lived with my sister before, lol. She's like a second mother to me, so she's been helping a lot." Commenter says, "I'm surprised his sister, your friend and roommate in university, would be helping her brother out. Does she know what her brother did? Does she have the full story?" OP says, "I don't know. I've been friends with her for a while, so I don't think she knew he was cheating or even knows now. She only messaged me like twice and told me her brother was blowing up her phone and asking if she could talk to me. Probably will be cutting her off if she does it again, considering I already told her not to message me about him again. I would be just telling her." Absolutely. Commenter says, "Just tell her what her brother did, so she'll leave you alone, and she'll give him a telling off. Why keep it to yourself?" OP says, "I'm not keeping it to myself. It's been literally a day. I have more important things to do currently with finances, my living situation, and family issues. I'll be telling her, I just haven't yet." The commenter says, so glad this ended with you leaving. Stay strong and do not go back. Recovering from cheating is awful. Give yourself time to heal. It could take a year." After it happened to me, and I actually was no contact for a year, I was surprised to realize he wasn't consuming my thoughts anymore. And then quickly it turned into, wow, I haven't thought of him at all this week. It just takes time. You got this. Obligatory woman-to-woman advice? Get tested. OP responded saying, "I didn't even think to get tested. Thank you, I'll set up a doctor's appointment ASAP. Someone asks, does OP know the other woman? OP says, I only know their name, which I won't be saying on Reddit. I do know they know about me though. And I totally get OP just wanting to block everyone, move on, and just not deal with any of this bullshit anymore. But when the sister's getting in touch, etc., I think I'll be firing straight back and saying, you know that he cheated, right? Because it just allows him to spin his own little narrative on this, and you know, that would wind me up. But again, I know everyone's different and wants to deal with it in different ways. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.